Right, at 6:02, we're going to call to order the November 20th meeting of the Parsonsfield Town Planning Board. So we'll call that meeting to order now. I want to remind everyone tonight that if you're speaking, you must be a town resident unless the board recognizes you. And if you're a representative of someone that is not a town resident, then you can just let us know. Please stand, tell us where you're from, what your address is. We want to try to move through some of this stuff efficiently without a lot of back and forth. So correspondence. Desiree, I don't see anything. We had one email that came in today, but it didn't really hit our timeline.
We have the one email from Diane Rutledge about Mr. Smith.
Yeah, this one. That one.
Oh, okay, perfect. This is the WhatsApp email.
Okay. That's the one. Okay.
Other than that, everything was pertaining to the back and forth, submitting the application.
Yep. Is everyone reviewing this email?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I did read it earlier.
That's just information for us, is all that is. It's kind of more to select. I think I with that public hearing.
Diane, generally, your comments will be addressed during the public hearing. We have received the email and made it part of the record.
Okay.
And we will be scheduling a public hearing on all these events.
I'm sorry, I'm wearing my hearing aids.
That's all
I'm
right.
on high, but I can't quite catch you all.
Generally, your comments that you want to address to the board and to the public would be best served at the public hearing we're going to schedule. But your email to the selectman was forwarded to us and it is part of the record.
Right,
We just didn't want you to feel overlooked.
no.
So we've all seen
I'm
it?
here to, just to find out more information.
Of course.
tonight, Because I assumed that it would be in the hearing format.
Yep. We had said your name. I just didn't want you to feel like we were brushing you over.
Not a problem at all.
So we're going to go to the review of minutes.
There are minutes.
Except there are none.
Except there are none.
We're on the agenda in case I got a.
Okay. So we're gonna table the review of minutes till the next meeting. You want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion, we table the review of minutes till our next meeting in December.
Second. All in favor? Old business. So under old business, we have a site plan review for New England Karting Challenge for Mr. Paulette, who's here this evening. It's on map RO2 lot 003A. The issue was an incomplete application the time he was before us, and we granted him a conditional usage to try to keep his business from being ground to a halt. Here's my issue that I'll address the board with, and you guys, we can take it from there. Mr. Paulette did return some of our questions, responding to the letter on October 1st that we sent him of incomplete application. And it was discussed with some of us and some other members of the town that that application was not complete in the normal format that we would require from anyone else. And we were going to work with him.
Correct.
Eric's just seeing if it's needed or.
Oh, okay. I didn't know why you were waving to me. So we were going to have someone work with you, Mr. Paulette, to make sure this application was in the same format as everyone else's. And that did not happen. And typically, we gave you an initial period of a conditional permit to work alongside the one you already operate under. And then you weren't able to make the last meeting, so we took it upon ourselves to grant you an extension. And because we mucked up as a group, I'm going to ask someone if the board feels that we should make another extension to get Mr. Paulette and have you set up a time with Jesse to get your application in. I think we have most of the information. We just need to make sure it's in the correct format.
Okay.
So how do you guys feel about that?
I think
I think it's only fair because it's not his mistake.
Right.
At this point.
Definitely.
So
I'll make a motion to grant him an extension to our next meeting.
I second it.
all in favor? You have our apologies. If you can set up a time with Jesse, maybe tonight before you go, we'll get you taken care of.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if the next meeting, the application, if he needs to be present.
the application.
I know you're traveling up here sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-hour ride, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree, but we have we batted this around. This is more of a formality at this point, so we owe you a little bit of convenience. Okay, so Jesse, you'll work on that with us? Okay, so we're gonna close old business for now. Oh, I apologize, we're not. We're gonna talk about the
Not yet.
floodplain ordinance.
Yeah.
Did everyone see Desiree's email with the links to the maps and the definitions?
Yep.
No. I don't do it on computer.
Okay. Desiree, did you print off your definitions and your link?
Yes, it should be after Diane's meeting.
Welcome.
It's very dated. because
Yep.
it's-
It's stuck to my page. So we were all asking at our last, before we made an approval of the suggested language, for definitions of the areas and a clear link to the maps. The link that Desiree provided does work well. You have to repetitively put the town in again every time you go to a different zone.
So we don't have a hard copy any place of the maps. The maps.
They're not out yet.
They're not out.
You can only get them online.
Okay.
I read through this morning. Again, this is suggested language that we got directly from FEMA, so I don't personally have an issue with it, but. Okay, thanks again, guys. Sorry about that. Stuff happens. Anyone have any commentary regarding this? On the board?
Nope, this satisfies what we asked for, I think, so.
Yeah.
I agree. Harvey? You good? Alan?
I'm all set with the language, yeah.
So we would to adopt these, we need someone to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the floodplain ordinance with the amendments that Desiree added.
That would be the definition,
The
Joe.
definition.
Correct.
I second it.
All in favor? So passed. Now, make sure you sign in. So that does move us on to new business, and our first is a site plan review. Christopher Gonomsky is the applicant, U04, lot 005, 24 Federal Road. We did get a preliminary overview of this once before. JP. Gentlemen, just a minute so we can peruse this. Very detailed
Yeah. Really detailed.
encyclopedia.
It is halfway through it.
I've read through this once before. I've already gone through this one. Reminder to the board tonight, all we're doing is verifying the completion of the packet.
Property deed. property owner signed a letter.
Correct. Yep.
You'll appreciate the lighting.
Yeah. I saw that earlier,
Didn't you?
yeah. This is an old one. This is one we've had trouble getting before.
It was the building next door that we had a problem with. Yeah.
It was,
Oh, yeah.
it was this one.
No, it was the
Yeah.
day, it was the
No,
other
it's on next
daycare.
door.
This is daycare.
And this is the one,
Yeah, it
This was the Chinese restaurant.
This was daycare, original daycare.
Jesse did say they had a problem finding the septic plan. The property owner had a copy.
Yeah. I remember seeing this.
I think you're personally thinking of the one we did the change of use for the stove shop.
Yeah,
That's the building next to this.
Yeah, but I'm glad they had this one too. so
Yeah.
they did.
Right.
You can get a lot of these on the state archives, but you have to look at.
Yeah, you have to really go hunt for them.
Because they're not really listed as addresses.
No.
Might say down by the river. That's how I found mine. Up the street from the corner is what mine was listed as.
By the big elm tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up the street from the corner of New Hampshire. I think that's,
Here's one I didn't like. I remember seeing this too.
which is that.
Shared parking. It's about parking.
Front and back, I believe.
No,
That's all his parking, isn't it?
no.
In the front, yeah.
He needs 12 spaces by his calculations. He don't have 12 spaces.
I had on the side, the building that came with it.
That's not what,
Yeah. If there's a question, we can definitely talk through that, but there is adequate spaces for.
Saw where you had it marked out there. on
Yeah.
One of these pages.
They're not applicable.
I noticed there was gonna be also like an update to the septic system.
There's actually, so you guys like me to talk through it or give it a minute?
Let's get through the application first and then we'll open it to discussion with the applicant. Just so we don't get sidetracked. But did you see what I was talking about, Alan?
that. I didn't know. I don't.
It's under, no, in the, towards the back. It's not in the same place.
Not in the same area.
Here you go.
I'm still going
It's
through the
Annex
book.
Q.
I haven't got there yet. Okay.
Pages there.
I try to look at these in detail first time I go through them. Signage. He just showed the signages on the building now. Easement, not applicable, okay. Okay. I hate
Yours
this.
come apart.
Yeah,
Want to use mine, no fixtures?
no, I can get it back
I've been through
together.
mine twice already.
It shouldn't do that. Ah, crap.
Desiree, you need to get Alan a childproof binder.
No, it needs to get me one you see that? The middle one, it's,
Oh, it's because you got a recycled one that she
I
bought.
got one that she gave me a cheap
Provided by the applicant,
cheap one.
no, they were the applicant.
Cheap.
Oh, Jesus.
I got the cheap one.
Stock and Staples.
Leave it to you to find the defective one.
About that.
So that parking is going to be shared with the bakery, huh? That's the way it looks to me. Am I right?
Looks that way. I
It
figured that
does,
for
yeah.
clarification.
traffic, you did it again. Surface notes. That's not what we asked for. See this one? See what they answered? That's not an answer. We want to see a map showing the existing drainage, surface drainage. We always ask for it that way. We don't say it's going to make changes. We didn't ask for that.
Right.
Oh, here's the lighting. LEDs, great. Direction. It's not existing. Rules Committee, Rules Committee.
Saco River Corridor Commission.
Hmm?
It's the Saco River Corridor Commission.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
Chris, is the renter considered an abutter?
What's, yes?
Renter considered a butter. I'm not sure I understand that.
Well, he rents the other part of the building. I'm wondering, is he considered?
The tenant of the apartment. Not sure.
I don't, you mean, was he notified?
Well, I'm sure he's notified, but I would like to see a letter from him, what he considers.
Let's get through the application, guys, and then we'll open them.
Yep.
Do you want to go through this one step at a time?
Yeah, let's begin.
Okay. So you guys, or folks on the board, you all see that there is a complete application in the front
Looks like it.
with addendums or annexes provided. And sufficient number of copies were provided.
Crap.
I'll trade you copies.
Well, she gave me a cheap one, see it?
So that was bought from Staples, and that's on us. Apologize.
No, it's, Desiree did it.
Okay, so on item one,
Tape back there?
board,
Tape back there?
Oh, yeah.
board members.
No, that won't help it.
When we get to item one, applicability, does everyone agree that this application is applicable?
Yep.
Site plan review in regards to our newly adopted ordinances.
Yeah.
So it would pass the muster on number one.
Number one, it would, yeah.
Number two, the application was submitted in a timely manner. We all agree?
Yeah.
Number three, the permits that are applicable. I don't think
Whole thing is, other permit would have to come from Saco River Corridor.
Not
That's
yet.
just, oh, yeah, there's just a letter from that.
Right. So as of now, the permits section is fine, I believe. Else? Supplemental information. I know that Harvey had requested to see a letter from the tenant in the building before, and I would assume that is the supplemental information there. You said, gentlemen, the tenant is aware of the development.
Is there a letter in here?
There is not.
I didn't think there was. I didn't see it.
But I do not believe that we would consider a tenant and a butter, that would be the property owner. So we may wish to see it, but I don't think they're required to submit it.
Oh, the property owner signed the letter.
Correct. So I think that
Yeah,
is satisfied.
right.
Approval criteria.
Approval with all the line items.
So site plan content would include all the following exhibits, which we have a binder full. So go to general submission information if everyone's okay with that. Number A, or letter A, name and address of all property owners. There is a butter list included in here. A sketch map, a very detailed one, is provided. Boundaries of all contiguous property and control of the owner and applicant, which I don't believe there are any. That's also provided in here. Copy of the deed was in here. There's no land surveyor or architect at this point for anything.
Nope.
Bearings and distance of all property lines to be developed as source of information, that was quite detailed in here. The location and size of any existing sewer mains, culverts, and drains will serve the development whether on or off the property. The map did include the location names and widths of existing streets and rights of way. About the AGL has been satisfied, I believe. As well as the location dimension of exiting driveways, streets, parking, and loading areas. Again, location of intersecting roads or driveways are as well defined on the map. Location of open drainage courses, wetlands, stands of trees, which there isn't any. Location, front view, and dimensions of existing proposed signs, that was very well documented. Copies of covenants of deed, restrictions, location dimensions, there are no restrictions, I don't believe. Which would move us on if everyone's in agreement to propose development. The map did put the location of all building setbacks, yards, and buffers.
Question
Yes,
of interest.
please.
Proposed development activity, what this is for. We don't use this every time because someone's going to just ask to move into a building that's existing.
Right.
So I don't know if we need to do all these or not. Remember, at times we don't use all of them. But I think he give us answers to all of them.
I think they have addressed this
They have.
efficiently,
Quite
More than
well.
efficient.
Quite well.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. This,
this is for development.
correct.
Wait a minute, he's got it.
JP?
Under number 7. Okay. Justin Espinosa, 335 Mudgett, representing Mr. Godomsky here. Under number 7, it says, application must include the following exhibits and information. Please attach information on a separate sheet of paper and note that an item is not applicable and give a reason attached or not applicable. So if these things are not applicable for proposed development, that's why it says not applicable. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was clearly annotated in there. So if you guys find something like that one that you had noted earlier for the subsurface water,
Surface water.
Yep, that's why it says not applicable under the proposed development, because we're not making any changes to it. There you go.
Oh, well,
It is in there under, what is it? L or the prior one under existing
Right.
conditions.
right.
G. Because some of these things are
duplicating
Repetitive.
yeah, repetitive.
which I think is one of the other reasons why we
Yes,
didn't use
that's
that.
not surface-wise drainage across the site. It's applicable up here because it's existing. We're not asking for anything new. Just show us which way the water goes across the pavement. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
So, and you didn't do that.
Under
So you're not changing, we're not asking you, you're not going to change it.
Right.
I agree with you. We just want to see the flow of the water across the, I'll wait till we open discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're just looking right now.
Okay, but under item G above, it does show this item.
Water surface drainage across the site, that's stated. You don't say you have to adjust it, change it or anything. It's really what's existing. If you read G, the very last few words,
See the stormwater indentation here
no,
on the map.
didn't see that.
Yep.
I read the one that he was talking about. Believe me.
It's just located in a
Okay.
different location.
Okay.
It's listed under G and their annex.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
direction and route to, we just covered S. Front view, dimensions of proposed signs, we saw those were done out.
Exterior lighting's on there.
Exterior lighting is well documented. Proposed landscaping and buffering, there is none. Demonstrated of any applicable state permits or permits which may have been issued.
There was a schedule in the back,
Yep, I saw that.
yeah. And,
Schedule of construction, which is there.
right,
Okay, so before we open to the gentleman, or do you guys have any discussions on the completeness of this application?
The one thing that I didn't see in this application and some of these things that is in the, going to have a change of use is they ask for odor control. And I know that's been a big thing for the whole community. I don't see anything in here for odor.
Under the new ordinance,
but that's not in there.
but unfortunately, it's not been addressed in
Not
this
in here.
application,
It's not in the application.
which we're going to have to address
Okay.
right away.
I mean, that has to be put into one of our things.
If we want to deny an application on that basis, it's not in the application that we gave them.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're just kind of making it up as we go.
All right, but it is in the ordinances. That's what would be pertinent to bring it up.
Right.
Especially, I know.
I 100% agree that it is pertinent and it's going to be, I think
Soon.
it's going to be addressed tonight in several different areas.
I'm all for that too. I'm really for that.
But we do have to make note that we have to address this in our site plan application and get it amended because it's not
Okay.
a requirement. I think that will be under enforcement at this point. Jesse, would you agree? So I think until we amend our site plan application and get some more information on substantial odor control, that we can't deny an application based on it.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Or not unfortunately, just unfortunately from your point of view. But I do think that that has to follow Jesse for enforcement.
Right.
Because it is in the ordinance. And I think it's in some state requirements as well. Next point of interest. Do you guys have questions for the representative of, or the applicant that are?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I did see that update to the, to your septic system. Is that going to go through any time, or is that just a proposal with the cement barriers on the septic system? I saw that proposed septic system.
I'm sorry, where did you see that update? I think
I
you
think
were talking about Silver Therapy.
It's a different application.
I think you were talking about their application,
Yeah,
or his application.
Okay.
yours is existing.
Yeah, this one, the septic system is actually shared between the bakery and the Chinese restaurant. And it was actually built to house a restaurant. And it was built with the capability to hold another building as well. So it's a septic system beyond capability of holding the two buildings that it has currently. So yeah, it is it's a pretty beefy system.
Okay.
And the copy of the existing system,
Okay, thanks.
Next question for our applicant.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that again?
I asked if there was another question from the board for the applicant.
Okay.
We haven't opened a public comment yet. Board members, do you guys have another point?
I have none,
Gentlemen?
This looks complete to me.
Yeah.
Alan?
I think I'm okay, well, I think I'm okay with it.
Okay. Again, we're making a vote on whether or not we're approving the application, not permitting the business that follows.
If the application is complete, it's what we got to vote on.
And we need to schedule a sidewalk.
Yes.
So can I have a motion either way?
I'll make a motion that the application is complete.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor? Schedule a sidewalk now.
Yeah.
You guys want to stick to Saturdays?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm sorry, I'm new to this process. Does that mean the application being accepted is also approved?
It means it's accepted, and we have to do a site walk, and then we'll have a public hearing.
I own the building right in between,
Okay, we are going to have a time for public comment.
okay?
it's not approved yet.
No, we accepted the application as being complete.
That's all.
So site walk, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
To go for either the 7th or the 14th, the advertising requirements.
Okay, that was what I was doing.
You have historically done the Saturday before the meeting, so
I'm going to suggest the 7th because we have 3 applications in front of us at the moment. Is everybody okay with the 7th?
What was that again?
A site walk on the 7th of December.
7th is 7th?
My suggestion is 9 a.m.
That's what
Are we going to do more than one at this time, or?
we have in the past.
We'll probably end up doing more than one that day.
Okay.
JP?
I have a question. So part of the proposal of use for this property is for a medical cannabis caregiver facility, which Mr. Godomsky has a caregiver license for. He is protected to do that business by the state of Maine and can do so currently with his license for any building that he's rented to do so.
Correct.
He doesn't necessarily need like extra like stuff to do that through. And seeing it as an application as complete as it is, would he need a site walk and public hearing to get that portion of approval done?
On the medical portion?
Yeah.
This board doesn't govern medical,
Well, so because.
I believe. I may be incorrect.
Well, no,
This is new territory.
No. So, with the way the ordinance was written, a new use for buildings is as a medical cannabis caregiver facility
Okay.
for buildings. And that's under our ordinance now. And so if he were able to, so that's one of the things that he's applying for use.
Yep.
Yeah, so
What are you saying?
what I'm saying is, like, I get the site walk and the public hearing for the adult use cannabis store, the manufacturing facility, cultivation facility portion. But when it comes to the caregiver facility portion, I don't understand, like, how any public input from a public hearing or a site walk is going to change how the board can vote no on that at all. But this is new territory for me.
It's new territory for us all.
Yeah,
I'm addressing it more based on all four items in your Annex X,
okay,
which is asking for the adult use cannabis store and the manufacturing facility for medical
right.
and adult use cannabis cultivation.
Sure.
So items 2 and 4 would, I believe, fall under our board.
Okay, and for the number 1, the approval to change the use for cannabis caregiver facility.
Well, I believe the state protects his ability to do that in any building he leases, correct? Under state law, if I read that properly.
Not under the new ordinance.
Not under the new ordinance, it has to be a change of use to that.
So our new ordinance trumps the state law about the medical.
We can be more restrictive when it's a facility not located on his primary residence.
Okay.
Okay.
So we do need to follow through with our sidewalk. Then.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's, well,
Reroute the license, it's nothing to do with us, so
Is that?
the license
We're just giving approval for the use of the building.
of the facility, yes. That's all we can approve.
Right. The selectmen, that falls, that falls to them.
That falls under them.
So JP, my opinion is we're addressing this just like we normally would any application.
okay,
I do think that going forward, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be addressing this application in terms of these ordinances that have been adopted. Because there may be some things that you guys are exempt from that we are just not necessarily doing that. But rather than causing a public outcry, I think we should follow the steps we normally follow.
yeah,
I don't, again, I don't see anything wrong with the application, so that's why we accepted it.
no, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense, I just, yeah, the medical portion of that, but if we're lumping it all together, then that makes sense.
Yeah, the medical portion, again, I'll gonna do some more reading too before our next meeting.
Okay, all right.
So 9:00 AM, guys,
Works for me, December 7th.
Desiree, you've got that?
Yep, I need a motion then.
Yep, I need someone to make a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we have a site walk on December the 7th at 9 a.m. for, what's that building number again?
22.
22 Federal Road, 24 Federal Road.
I second it.
All in favor?
One down.
For the moment. Everyone has their packet for Silver Therapeutics. We have to schedule a public hearing.
You got us.
At the same time, we have our board meeting, so you'll remember that.
Yeah,
So
I guess it makes sense to schedule them individually if we're gonna do the sidewalks individually, even though. So then I would say the public hearing we would schedule prior to our meeting on the 18th of December.
Right. So I do want to mention, just because we do have so many applications this month, that there is a provision in the bylaws that if warranted by the number of pending or newly submitted applications or by other business of the board, a second regular meeting for the month may be called.
Yeah, you can do,
So if you're getting the feeling that
We're gonna,
they want to split these to 2 nights, and I mean, the 18th is the week before Christmas week. Wednesday is Christmas. So I don't know if you want to try to do 2 meetings in a week, or if
That-
you want to do a meeting.
that would make the most sense to me, maybe the 17th and 18th,
I won't be present.
for either one.
I may be here the 17th, I may be at the hospital because the surgery's the 18th.
So the other thing is,
I can be here.
That would still leave us with a
That
quorum.
leaves you with 3, you've got a
Yeah.
quorum.
and the other thing is you could move one meeting to the 11th if you want to do.
Why don't we schedule this public hearing for the 11th, because it's the first in line? Do you have a problem with that? Because you'll be still
I'll still be available that day.
be available.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
The
public.
rest of the board, like your opinion before we,
The 11th is open for me, so that works.
okay? So we'll need to make a motion.
Make a motion, we have a public hearing on this matter on December 11th.
And I'll need a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
What time? You didn't give a time.
6 PM, when we do them all, Alan.
Pretty much.
You still got to have it in the
I know.
motion.
Can we amend that motion, please?
Amend the motion to have the time at 6 PM for the public hearing on the 11th.
Can I have a second to the amendment?
Second it.
And all in favor? Correct.
Now you need to go back to the original motion,
The original,
the original motion.
no, because we already amended it. We approved and then amended it.
And now you gotta do the motion as a whole.
That's what I
So
said.
now I need a motion as a whole.
Right, yes. Right, that's what I was saying.
You want to make that motion? I can't, so would you like to make it?
I'll make a motion that we have the public hearing for 24 Federal Road on December the 11th at 6 PM.
I second that.
All in favor? So passed.
That was done.
So we're going to move to the board to start looking through your application for item B, please. I'll be right back.
Item B.
Yes.
Wow. They got a ton of butters.
Yeah, a lot of it, but
What's all these blank pages?
I don't know. You do. I don't have anything like this.
I do. See this?
Some of them are butters on the side.
1, 2, 3,
Probably just a paper jam.
4. I got 4 blank pages. That's another designated thing.
Application.
And then there's a sketch map.
Adult use.
Another list of them. How many? I'll do that.
Wow. Same list.
Jeez.
Desiree, there's 2 lists of butters here. Are they supposed to be?
I got 2 lists of abutters.
Yep.
Somebody might not have got one.
And they start with different.
There really should be 2 lists because there should be the Parsonsville list and the Porter list.
Oh, okay, higher.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Does that look,
all right.
Yep, that makes sense.
it's one list, but
Take your word for it.
both Parsonsville and Porter are well. Parsonsville and Porter.
Mine just went stapled together so that you're confused.
This thing is all over the place.
Tricky, it's not in order.
Yeah.
Dig around. What I do, sit here and check them off as you find them.
Oh, I don't know about this. Did you see this here, what they said? because 24, between 24 and 18 is less than 700.
Yeah, and that has approved.
Huh?
Let me go.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Before we weren't gonna let them use public park. Finish with that. Here's another better list.
Yeah, I got 3 of them. I have them too.
Got that one covered down.
That's pretty good. See here, they got it for this runoff, and they show with the arrows how it goes.
Yeah.
That's what that always should have. You know what that's gonna be? I'll show you. Mine's got it marked. Where'd you go? That's the new septic system's going in there. That's why it's shaded like that.
I can't read it so small.
Retaining wall, septic, and deck. The septic's one in here.
There's a permitted deck there. Is there a permitted deck on that building?
Permit for what?
Is there a permitted deck on that building?
No. Not right now there isn't. So that building just goes straight up right now.
That's,
What's that one? Yeah. That's a big, we got one big problem.
definitely. Oh, more butters.
All right. That's for the license, for the therapeutics. There's more to it than that. There you go. There's some more of it, more yet.
Just a generic.
Yeah. Didn't pick up on that.
Do that. Do you see a septic plan? Alan? Did you see a septic plan anywhere?
No, it's,
Is it proposal?
there's, not for the proposed, but there's an existing one, because remember all that we went through last year?
Yeah. Oh, here are the requested waivers.
We pretty much already said yes to the retail place once. didn't we?
Yeah, it's more the completeness of the application we're
Right.
reviewing.
Yep.
There's a bunch of waivers, if you saw that in the end that they're requesting. Why, what's the point of waiting the name of the streets? Putting it on the- Has everyone gone through their packet? Moment, Alan.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay,
I'm reading this again.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to, that when we get down there. So the same as we did before, let's go through this application for completeness.
I could, should have done. Had a public hearing on that. Before we got to this one.
Yeah.
So got that over with.
Yep.
I mean, public comment.
So on item 1, applicability, do we all agree that this is applicable use for this application? And it was submitted within 15 days. Other applicable permits. Several lists of abutters.
Yeah.
Plenty of about it.
3 of them, I think. if I
Three
counted.
left, 3 list. Got that.
Does anyone on the board have supplemental information they're asking for at this point?
I didn't see the septic system, which is one of the Stanley Building's age-old problems.
Yep.
Need to, somebody to verify that they do have a system with LLC, with Billworks.
Didn't we require them to have to get at least a plan in place?
Correct. I did not see it either.
I haven't seen that.
The way it's written,
If I recall, this prior approval for this building was only based on construction use only.
Yes.
Until a septic was.
Till a septic plan was in place, yeah.
right.
Is the applicant here?
Yes, my name's Melina Dumas.
Just stand up for us.
Here needs to come identify herself.
My name's Melina Dumas. I'm here on behalf of Silver Therapeutics. I work for the law firm Dentons in Portland.
Okay.
I'm a full-time cannabis licensing and regulatory compliance attorney. I've been doing that for about 6 years. So cannabis. I wanted to make a clarifying point at the outset. So I do not believe there's a conditional use permit application form that's separate from the site plan application form, but in the land use ordinance amendments that were adopted, an adult use cannabis store is a conditional use. And that's why we provided the cover letter at the outset that goes through all the conditional use approval criteria in the ordinance, which includes odor, being compatible with neighboring uses, And the site plan for this property was approved in January of this year. And that's what you're speaking to, I think, where the conditions were placed on it for the new septic system, which they have in place to have developed by June 2025. And there's a holding tank in place currently. The property owner has been keeping us updated.
Correct, but do you have a copy of that septic plan? Because that needs to be part of this application for us to consider, or will be complete.
So I guess my point is that we actually don't need site plan approval for this application. We'd filled out the site plan application form because that's what is available, but it's a conditional use approval. So
But it doesn't change my concern that that building isn't for use until that holding tank is only for use for construction.
Construction,
So
right.
without a septic plan, we can't consider anything for going in that building.
Okay, so
Josh Ferranto from Silver Therapeutics.
Okay.
So I've been talking to the landlord an extent about this, and, you know, I think there was some miscommunication. He received notice that he has full use of it, and it can be used until 2025, 6/30/25, and that issue with the just being for construction wasn't true. He verified that with Jesse and someone else in the town. So,
Whose communication where did he receive that communication from?
I'd have to ask him.
Okay.
But
Jesse?
Says right in the approval, septic engineered, designed, planned, and installed by June 30th, 2025. Designed to be submitted to the Parsonsfield CEO and planning board as soon as possible.
But wasn't there, one of the conditional approval is that holding tank was only for construction purposes?
Doesn't say it in there.
That didn't get written into the letter?
because I have a copy of that approval letter, just so our understanding was it was approved for mixed use, including retail.
Okay.
And that we wouldn't.
We just want to clarify on our end to make sure we're not stepping on our own toes. So,
But it's still, that letter still needs to be part of this package.
okay.
That answers the question about septic.
So I'm.
And the current septic system can't handle what is being proposed. The current septic system that's in place right now can't handle a retail store, was my understanding.
Well, it's, the current system was for the whole mill, and the idea is that it can be pumped out once it
That's
reaches
what
a
they
certain
pumped it.
threshold. So as it stands right now,
Like
we
the system
handle
on it.
everything
But we
there.
don't know that.
And then, you know, he's planning on putting
That should be,
the correct septic system, but for as of right now, I mean, it's, you know, it could handle that whole mill, be pumped out every 6 months or something.
yeah,
Okay. My understanding.
Do you know if he's got a pumping schedule at all?
that's, we asked for that.
And an alarm system.
An alarm system, if you remember, Jesse, we asked for both. Is that in there someplace? It's not. I remember, I asked for that, the alarm system.
It wasn't in the letter?
Wasn't it in a letter? And we asked for a schedule for the pumping schedule too.
Desiree, can you print a copy of that letter, please?
Yes.
Right.
But he got a letter from who was going to do the pumping for him, and we got a copy of that someplace.
Yeah, we do.
But-
It's as needed. Yep.
And I think Anderson was the guy that was going to pump it. So that should be part of this package.
Could he get permission and a schedule for pumping, and whether or not he has a contract with them to help pay for that? It's not cheap either.
Oh, it,
That help? I mean, I don't know.
something, we need something in this application about the existing septic system. Presently, we have nothing.
Correct. Whether it's existing or new, we still need a copy of it in the application.
I did get notified that he had a design, somebody out there designing a new system.
Yes, they, you know, but that's neither here than there.
I don't know if it's been done.
I don't either. We don't have.
If you did, it'd be nice to have a copy.
Okay. We'll,
Hi.
we'll,
Can I ask a question?
yeah,
So for,
can you just identify yourself?
what's that? Josh Silver, partners with Josh Ferranto and Silver Therapeutics. Just so we're clear, my understanding is that we have, as part of the land use record, our application, the land use record has a approved site plan that has an approved septic system that's good until 2025. Is that not the case? Isn't that the language that was?
No, it's existing system. We allowed them to use it until 2025.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I understand.
Unfortunately, it was our understanding, it was supposed to be worded to them that it was only to be used for construction purposes.
And did it say that? But it didn't say that in the.
Apparently,
So that-
but apparently never got across and everybody's,
And we're being prejudiced
Be
by
that, please.
the lack of,
We're just going through the application at this point, so we're not prejudicing anything. We're asking
No,
questions.
we're asking questions.
You unfortunately heard a lot of questions on this bill.
Yes.
Lots. Okay. And Desiree, also, if you could have the minutes from that meeting with the approval too.
Yeah, so. yeah,
Was that a recorded meeting?
It should have been.
Okay.
It should have been recorded, and we should have a.
Okay, let's go back to going through this application for completion. So skipping the supplemental information, which is from a cluster. Approval criteria. Everyone's opinion on that? Has that been met?
Do you want more than one copy of this?
You want a copy of that letter?
Yes.
How many?
6. Okay, site plan content.
Yeah.
Name and address of all property owners within 500 feet from the edge of the property line, which we know has been sufficiently covered.
Yeah.
I believe the sketch map is sufficient.
Yep.
Well, agree.
Yes.
Boundaries of all contiguous property under control of the owner, or the applicant. Is there a copy of the deed? There's a copy of the deed?
Letter of intent. There is, I
Yeah,
guess,
Letter of intent, yeah,
there's is in there
but it is in there.
And a letter
with
of
an option
interest?
to purchase, yes.
Yeah.
That whole deed issue before got cleared up, correct? Desiree, Jesse,
Jesse,
this previous issue with the deed of this property, that's all been cleared up, correct? The previous issue we had with this property with the deed issue, the ownership of the building, is that all, it's out of court, it's all been settled? Do you know?
As far as I know, he owns it free and clear. I mean,
not by the letter we got in here.
my letter of intent.
Right,
We understand your letter of intent.
Right.
There was a lot of controversy over whether the actual ownership of the building belonged to the Mounts Brothers, and that's what we're trying to clear up.
We're trying to clear.
Which if we had a copy of the deed from them, that would clear that up. All right, so let's just move past that because we can't answer that question at the moment.
I don't think it's.
Name, registration, name of the land architect, engineer, or similar profession who prepared any plan. This is one of the items you're asking for a waiver on, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any construction there's underlying approval for the site.
So it'll just be interior build out.
Correct.
Okay.
I got that. Property bearings and lines.
Is there a reason why you asked for a waiver on F? Which is just the bearings and distance of all property lines of property to be developed?
Yeah, we requested waivers that we didn't believe are relevant to a project where there's not going to be any construction or exterior development. And then we provided the supporting documentation from the underlying site plan approval for the commercial use.
Okay.
The retail use.
So let me go back to all these waivered items that we requested. Requesting a waiver on F and G. Existing sewer and water mains and culverts, that's what I have an issue with right there.
I do too. Because it should be in here.
Locations and names and presence and width of streets. Should have drainage course wetlands.
A tip?
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to waiver on. Is everyone on the board aware of the request for the waiver of all these items? The majority of them, I believe, fall under existing conditions. Alan?
I'll say that again.
I just want to make sure everyone here on the board has read their request to waiver a lot of the items on this application.
Yeah, I've seen.
Pretty much already went through them and we.
Okay, does anybody have anyone on the board have any commentary regarding that? Do we have a copy of the easement for the fire escape?
No.
What about lighting? Is that considered exterior? Are you guys do any lighting?
We've noted in our cover letter that the only improvements will be the build out and the security infrastructure that's required for cannabis businesses, again specifically including making sure the exterior lighting is sufficient, like the perimeter, and I think the lighting fixtures are noted in the architectural plans.
Okay.
Were you going to establish the bank side or the retail side?
The bank side. Where the bank was.
Bank,
Yeah. Yep.
a window space for signages?
Let's even go back and closer to building 24. I don't want to give no waivers here. Everything should be answered at here. We need to tell. I know there might not be nothing. The property lines aren't going to change, okay, but they need to be on a sheet. We need to see all the sewers.
I think one of the debates we're having right now is that I guess I see why you feel you don't need to fill out these items for the waiver, but I don't, like that you don't do this that everyone else that comes before us does.
And if I may just respectfully, that our understanding is site plan review is not required for this use. Conditional use approval is required, and it's quite standard when we do this work in other municipalities in the state to request waivers of site plan requirements that have been sort of specifically spent a lot of time focusing on the conditional use criteria that are required for approval of these uses. So they ultimately, those are the factors that are considered weighed most heavily in determining whether conditional use approved ultimately after a public hearing. The site.
We try to waive we try to weigh everything equally so that we're following the letter of rule.
I'll get an underline there in a minute.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss that again.
Oh,
because
they
that
should have been asked.
Didn't make the letter. I don't know why. Again, it's just a comment. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We just feel that everyone should do the same amount of work, and I understand that you're, concentrating on the things that are most important to get you up and running, but some of the things that they're asking for, that you're asking for a waiver, were quite simple and very easy to attain.
My point is just that it's conditional use approval that's required for this use. Site plan approval is not required for this use.
So why do we have an application?
Why are we looking at it?
If there's a separate conditional use permit application, it's common in those towns to not separate those out. That's why we'll have the cover letter that speaks to those, which are requirements for the approval.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind if you just press the.
I think you added, you said it, what do you guys already have? I'm not sure I know what already have. Just in terms of what application do you, as the board, believe that it's reviewing right now? Does it, and let me just finish my thought. Does it believe that it's reviewing site plan approval, or does it believe that it's reviewing conditional use approval, or is it a combination of those two?
For us, it's usually all in the same.
See, and I think my attorney's point is that, under the law, we don't require any site plan approval for this.
So why did you submit a site plan?
Because we submitted a conditional use approval.
That's not what this is.
It's a form that's applied by the town that is suited to fit the best we can. But at the end of the day, there's the ordinance. And I think, actually it came up in the prior applicant, there's something that the ordinance says, and there's something that the application says. And for example, something like, the five conditional use requirements. I mean, is that in the site plan approval form of application at all? And that's otherwise, how do you approve a conditional use permit without going through those criteria? And that's what we're doing. We're asking for a conditional use.
Okay. Noted. I just guess I'm not sure where to go at this point. If we're
I'm not
reviewing
either.
a site application.
I'm not for sure either, because we don't do,
So in,
that's up to the,
Yeah, the selectmen set us up for this, so we gotta kind of have a definition on
well, there's
how
also
we're
still
supposed
some
to.
existing issues that we need to review from this first. Jen, do you want to give us your 2 cents worth, or do you prefer not to at this point?
I think I prefer not to. It's
Okay.
Everything that's zoned is conditional for adult use. Something we could have more of a discussion on.
I mean, I think there's an open question about, well, I shouldn't say open, I mean, the ordinance is.
Could you just stand if you're, so everyone can hear you?
Sorry.
I'll get it, the third time you ask me,
It's fine.
figure it out. So, the ordinance says that the planning board reviews conditional use applications, right? You guys don't have a form for it online. So what do? We put together something that we felt the board would understand and go through the criteria that really have nothing to do with site plan review. It has everything to do with the fitness of the use for a particular district. And that's a conditional use review. And that's
Correct,
what the
but there are questions on our part about the usability of that building.
Sure, and those are fair, but they need to be reviewed in the context of the criteria that the ordinance puts out. And the application that's online doesn't really touch on those. So I think it's an open question to.
It is kind of an open question.
But also, what did you just approve? Did you just approve a site plan? Or did you just deem a site plan application was complete? Or did you deem a conditional use application was
We
complete?
deemed the site plan was complete.
So,
So I think, in my opinion, this site plan as submitted is not complete.
right.
because we didn't apply for a site plan.
Well, I didn't say that.
What does that say?
Well, that's your one.
That's why in the cover letter, we were very clear that it was, the cover letter speaks to, this is an application for a conditional use permit, and these are the criteria.
Okay.
Like, this is your first, so this is the first go around for this, so I get it. But
So when,
conditional use criteria are set forth in the ordinance, and whether or not there's a form online, it's our obligation as the applicant to respond to the questions that the select board have requested of us and bring them to you. As the planning board, I'm just following the rules.
right, we also don't have any information on you at all from the selectmen themselves. We're just going on this.
Right, but the cover
We're just
letter.
speaking to Article 4, the
Yep.
conditional use section, the land use development ordinance that explains what's required for an application for conditional use, that there must be a public hearing, and that you can only grant a conditional use if you meet these 5 criteria, which have to do with whether the activity will have a significant adverse impact upon the value or quiet possession of surrounding properties, operating it. So the intensity of the proposed use, traffic, hours of operation, odor, the potential for nuisances. Those are the criteria that ultimately they approve.
Correct. And a lot of those things we do address sometimes through the site plan, like when we're asking for lighting and traffic and.
Uses, if I may, it's right here, the capacity, the capacity of the sewage and water supply systems to accommodate the proposed use. So what we're going through is exactly what's asked for on conditional uses. There's a lot of overlap between site plans and conditional use, and that's why we're kind of circling this this
Yes.
problem, because
And I understand that, and that's.
It's not your
why
fault.
The landlord went through the site plan review process and got the sewage plan approved for this company with the 2025 development. But we were just seeing those as the uses approved, like mixed use, commercial, going through that process and having the sewer and the stuff, all of that approved and with the conditions from the prior approval that still stand.
We can't approve this.
But we're not.
Just not to be disrespectful, interrupt you, but just getting back to the bouncing it back into the landlord's lap. And I understand where you're coming from. If you read the approval letter that they received, do you have a copy of that?
Yes.
So, under conditions, we, to the best of my knowledge, and please someone tell me if I'm wrong, have we seen, anything about the fire escape easement? Jesse, do you know anything about that?
He's got a fire escape that he's got a permit for to install.
Haven't seen nothing on.
Okay, I haven't seen any, ever.
He came in with a design.
Okay. And he's provided copy documentation showing viability of the holding tank and the pumping schedule. I don't recall seeing any of this. That's my issue, that I feel like that loop never got closed. And I will clearly bring up that I know that it was a very hostile time and everybody was a little upset, but I think at one point during that meeting, I said, we are not here to not see this building used for any purpose. We just want to make sure that it doesn't come back to bite us in the ass, which is the chomp that we're getting right now.
Right.
I mean, you have a site, you have a map showing a proposed, is it proposed septic?
Yeah,
But I don't have a septic plan to back that up.
it's just a map that's in here. It shows it with a deck over it too.
Yeah, I don't, is that deck been
I
approved?
don't think that's where the septic ended up getting designed, because there's not enough space
No.
for it.
So we don't know that.
But that's what we got in this package, oh, Jesse.
All right. Again, you're not incorrect. This is your first go around, so forgive us if we look like we're stumbling. I know some of you do this for a living, and as do you, and we're just trying to do what we're supposed to do and follow the letter so that you don't get a meeting like this. But I guess at this point, you guys, you have to tell me what you think. I can't make a motion either way. I mean,
I don't have, we can make a motion to do anything to assist them at this time because this package is not completed. It's a site plan review application.
Yes,
And
but
they're
we've been-
asking for conditional
we've been
use.
through this before. Once they submit a site plan, we have to either vote it complete or incomplete.
Right.
Or table it. We can't just let it.
But in this case, that building is not useful at this point.
I think we all agree with that. I don't necessarily know if they do, but
Right.
I think we're missing some documentation.
Right.
And on
Question
the
is-
building itself, it's not even necessarily your application or the conditional use. It's what the planning board is supposed to do is decide on the use of the building. which
We got to decide.
necessarily feel that building is ready for occupation based on sewage alone.
Right. We got to decide also on the conditional use that they're really asking for.
Yeah.
We got to get some additional information about the new ordinance.
But my point is being in the past, when we've had people come before us and they've submitted this site application and paid their fee and filled out the form, we don't just
Right.
pretend it never came in. We
Right.
have to vote that it's incomplete, or we have to vote that it's complete unless they choose to withdraw it. Which I think we're past that point as well.
I think we are too.
So that's just my opinion.
I'll make a motion that the application is not complete and table it till such time as more information can be gathered.
Do we have a second to
I'll
that
second.
motion? All in favor? So at this point, Desiree will prepare you a letter that tells you that we deem this application incomplete, and what things we need to see it complete. We will follow up with the selectmen, making sure you have the correct application. And we will also discuss with our CEO some of the original decisions based on that approval of that building regarding the septic. A septic plan would have made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I just think that we need some clarification on how to apply for a conditional use permit. Because it sounds like you guys are reviewing an application that we didn't intend to submit. You know what I mean? You're reviewing site plan. We didn't ask for site plan.
Okay, but you did submit a site plan.
Right. We submitted the form of a site plan application.
Yep.
In the cover letter, we tried to explain why.
Right.
So
on our agenda isn't a conditional approval.
Yeah, and that was a great point, because we looked at that and we said, oh, well, that must be a mistake. We'll clarify that when we go in.
So I wish you had spoken. I mean, I'm not trying to throw that in your face. I really wish you had said that ahead of time, because then someone would have said, what are we doing here?
We saw the agenda on Sunday.
Okay.
First time,
Right.
so we just thought we would come and it would, I'm sorry, I should have said.
I mean, we're not telling you can't do business in town. We're not telling you that this building may not suit for you on any level. We're just saying that what we have in front of us, we can't rule that it's complete, because it's not.
Yeah, look,
I'm notoriously business friendly for this town and want to see a business in that building. So I say, again, we will send you a letter telling you why we deem this incomplete, and I didn't even mean to submit it, so I don't think it's going to hurt my feelings. I will take a conversation up with the selectmen directly, and Desiree, I'm going to have you draft some correspondence as well to make sure that you guys have the correct application so we can get you rolling.
yeah, and I think, look, this is all happening tonight, right?
Right.
We got 3 applications. One was just deemed complete, but it sounds like it wasn't even a conditional use application. It was
It's a site plan.
another person here looking for, I assume they're all looking for conditional use permit, because that's what the ordinance says.
It's on my understanding that we're approving the use of the buildings, and the selectmen are approving the licenses, which would be under the conditional use, correct?
The licensing ordinance requires that you have a conditional use approval from the planning board specifically. So no one will be able to go before the select board to get approval.
So you need a conditional use permit form.
If that's what, not all towns have those
Yeah.
forms, so they accept the process that we just went through. But if you would like if you'd like to develop a new form and have all the applicants go through that process, that would be fair.
Yeah, I'm all about being fair. Again, I'm only basing it on, I've always said if it's in this book and it's doable, we should approve it. And unfortunately, in this form you sent us, it's not complete, which when you requested waivers.
Right, we requested waivers, so will it be, did you say into the record what was incomplete about the application, or will it just put it in the letter?
If you want to go through it, we're going to send you a letter, but I can tell you,
It sounded like some of what's being incomplete might be the perception that the prior approval that was granted is deficient in some way.
well, how we deem something complete is if we have everything that's on this list. Okay, so I can tell you that you did great with the butters. Again, I'm going to say that again. I think everyone in this county is in a butter for you. Your sketch maps are great. Boundaries of contiguous property under the control of the owner applicant were fine. Copy of the deed to the property. That's a sticky one. We have your letter of interest and intent. There's still a question that we don't know for sure was ever resolved about the ownership of the property. A simple deed, which we've been down this road 150 times from them. So, I'm not going to even tell Desiree to put that in the letter. But that would have probably been a sticky fact for a lot of people sitting here.
That's now, thank you.
Name, registration number, and seal of the land surveyor, architect, engineer. You're just doing a build out inside, so I wouldn't worry about that. Bearings and distance of all the property lines, again, it wouldn't have been hard to do. You could have pulled it from the previous application, but it's not on there. You applied for a waiver for it. Location and size of existing sewer lines, water mains, and culverts, again, not hard to do, but not there. Names of present widths and streets, not there. Locations and ground on the AGL, not there. Dimensions of existing drive, street parking, not there. Parking was a huge issue the first time around with this building. And I believe it was discussed that they would have to show not necessarily a lease, but a right of to use parking with the other building.
With the other building.
With the mill.
With the mill.
But again, it's not there. Open drainage course, it's not there. No proposed signage.
The signage is in there.
Is it? Okay.
And I think the parking is in there.
I see the parking.
Yeah, they're standing across.
In our original approval of them, we told them that they could not use the municipal parking as part of their parking plan. And then they said, we have a big building right next door, and we said, then we need something in writing that there's a right of way of that.
That was the mill.
The first floor.
One of the things I'm gonna do that I probably have never done before is when I ask Desiree for some of the minutes for you folks from Silver Therapeutics, I'm going to send them to you as well, from what we had problems with the first time with this building. Just so you know.
On the subject of parking, if their retail takes up the parking that's in front, does that mean no tenants they can't rent to tenants because those parking spots are taken up?
Is the issue.
Parking's
Exact
an
same thing.
issue.
Because of the original plan that was brought to us with, which may not be the plan anymore, we don't know that, was retail, restaurant, even though someone sat here and told me there was no restaurant ever gonna go there, I set it on the map. Apartments above, there is a deemed number of parking spaces that need for that building. Do I believe that they're in the area? Yes, but they just need to be demonstrated 100% and not including the municipal parking lot.
Across the street, yeah.
Location dimensions of any existing easement and 10 copies of existing covenants. I don't think that applies. Building setbacks and buffers. I mean, it's basically everything you asked for. Waiver is not part of the application. There's not going to be any landscape and buffering. Lighting, I'm assuming that is, probably your landlord is providing your lighting, but, some sort of direction on that.
It was marked on the application.
There's no schedule of construction, correct?
Right.
Don't have to have that out.
The proposed development activity is not something I would highly concentrate on in our site plan application. It's because most of that isn't really going to affect you because it's an existing building. The biggest issues are going to be, the one that would have knocked you into the incomplete phase period is the septic and parking and
Paperwork for the fire escape.
a copy of whatever we've got for the fire escape for the building. You're inheriting some issues, unfortunately. But that's if we were talking to you about a site plan, which you've made clear you did not mean to submit.
Look, I mean, this is a conversation where, you guys are gonna.
We could go around 100 times back and forth all night long.
Yeah.
And we are probably going to go around 100 times after and during public comments. And I'm going to make an appointment right now, right at the end of this meeting with the selectmen to go in and sit with them. But unfortunately, that's why it's incomplete. And Desiree will send you a letter detailing it.
Yeah, I think maybe it would be useful for myself and, maybe for the other candidates.
For everyone.
To have some guidance.
Yep.
About how the board will fulfill issue criteria that are set forth in the variance, given the fact that there's no form application.
Again, I'm not rejecting Silver Therapeutics. I'm rejecting an application you didn't even want to give me.
No, I understand.
I just don't want you to take this personally.
It's gonna take a lot more than that, I promise.
Well, I'm not that high,
But I think that would be really helpful for Silver Therapeutics. If you want to help Silver Therapeutics and give us guidance on how to.
I 100% agree. I don't disagree. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't run into this with your previous applicant because that's all they brought up was the site plan. And that's what we did. We approved their site plan. So we're going to move on to the next. You're welcome to stay for public comments. You can yell at me then. Desiree will get a letter right out to you.
I appreciate it.
You will. Thank you.
This is new for everybody. I really.
I appreciate your patience with us on it as well. All right, so we're going to move on to site plan for Rejuvenate CCLLC, Trevor Sanders. Who is present this evening?
Another one, huh? Is he here?
He's here. He's up on the right-hand side.
Is that the one that was about the bowling alley?
Yep. Okay. See the words annex everywhere, I'm assuming. Okay. So, start at the top. Would you guys prefer to read this as we go, or would you like to review it individually first? I've read through it once, but I don't know if
Let's do it as we go, so we don't have to do it twice.
Okay. So not required, but we have their mission statement. Annex A, I've heard that word a lot tonight. Abutters list. So we have an abutters form. You're not on here. That's right.
I should be.
No, because then you.
I have to excuse myself and see if I am. Yep. No.
Or-
Yeah.
What, you looking for Alan's name?
He's not in a butter. Okay, we just want to make sure.
Gotten a letter from me like a
But I must be close to that 500 feet. I'm real close.
We're only addressing to make sure he doesn't confuse himself.
I just want to make sure. I don't see me on it.
Sketch map of where the property is located is here.
No, you're over 1,000 feet.
Don't seem like it. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Okay, maybe not a full 1,000, but you're well over 500.
Got a visual of the front of the building,
Yeah.
property description. There is no other property contiguous to that applicant, correct?
Right. Trees, setbacks and driveways. Okay.
Roads is there. Copy of the deed. Very clear.
There's nobody for a surveyor.
There's no build out and no requirement for this at this point. Variance and distance of all property lines.
Property lines, almost the same thing anyway.
Yeah. So
Sewer and culverts, okay. Yeah.
I think that satisfies G. Does anyone have any questions there? And there are lines showing water line.
Surface runoff, yeah.
Sorry.
He did put it on the same, which is just fine. Yeah.
Just when we get down to it.
Water and
Septic
sewer.
plan.
Septic's here.
Okay.
Streets, roads, okay.
Annex I.
Present width. Existing streets and right of ways. Don't tell us that. No widths on it.
On any of them?
No, oh, the streets or driveway, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah, I thought I saw it on one.
Way 65 feet. 350 feet of water flow, okay.
Clear map of intersections and roadways.
That's what I'm talking about. Go back here.
Isn't it on the other map though?
No. See it. Not even on this one either. It's okay though.
Existing.
Jay.
Yep. Keep going, it's there.
Okay.
Rejuvenate. Mark that on every sign. No easement. No change of development, okay.
There is a map there on this. Annex Q. Please speak up, board, if you're seeing something that I'm not. Sketch, aerial sketch. Parking.
Surface water, here it is again.
Yeah.
Signs, here's signs again. Exterior lighting, okay. Wall packs, okay.
Yeah.
Directional. Yep. Okay.
Sign again.
Lights, yeah, there's the lights.
Downlighting too, so. Escaping buffer. Changes.
All right, what's this here?
It's outside of the
Clock
recorder.
Order, yeah, okay,
Just verifying it
okay.
with a map to also verify it. Applicable per.
Shouldn't have someone.
Not an active license, even though he's got a license.
It's because that's next page. Next page.
When was this done?
A long time ago.
This here,
That was before you or me.
yeah, 19, yeah. That's when he, for,
But they were approved for that, based
For
on
approved,
future
that.
approval.
yeah.
Again, Annex X. Article doesn't apply to us.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a contract. Construction plan.
There is none.
There is one on the very back. Okay. I'm gonna go right around to everybody. Roger, did you see anything here that you do not find on this site? No?
Checked it off.
Do you see everything in there?
Yeah.
Did you find everything that's in the site plan application that's present? Even our estimates, did you guys see?
Look at.
It's windy outside, you lose all this paperwork.
You got a paper clip for this one.
Got a fancy binder though.
Feel bad for the last
He's got plenty of parts.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. So I guess at this point, we need to make a motion to approve, to make a motion that the application is complete. Does anyone?
I'll make a motion that the application is complete for 140 Federal Road in Parsonsville.
Second.
Out U02, lot 004.
Have a second?
I second it.
All in favor? So approved. So we need to schedule a site walk.
Yep.
Okay. Kind of next door. For coffee.
Can we go 10 a.m. on the 7th?
See, why not? What's that, 140?
Yeah, we know that'll meet the advertising deadline. Jim, are you available?
Yep.
10 a.m.? Mr. Sanborn, are you available that time? Okay. So we need to motion on that.
What, this, December what?
December 7th, so we'll be one right after the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Make a motion that we have a site walk on December 10th at 10 a.m.
7th.
December 7th, excuse me, at 10 a.m. Pardon me.
Can I have a second?
I want to add that 140 Federal Road in there too.
140 Federal Road.
Yes,
So.
then I'll second that.
Second that. All in favor? Approved. Scheduled. Desiree, you'll get the advertisement out?
Yep.
Public hearing.
Yeah. All the same naysayers, might as well have it the same night.
This is the 11th.
Sounds good. 6:30.
No, later than that.
following.
Immediately following the previous.
Yeah, don't put a time on it, they don't wanna.
No, I just don't think that's a good idea at this point.
Right. That's a good idea.
Okay. Those put into bed. Next is a subdivision application. Oh. Sorry, I did not get a motion on the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I need a motion on the public hearing.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we have the public hearing on December 11th, following the one at 6 o'clock.
Second it.
No time set.
I second it.
All in favor? Pass.
Just a question, just clarification. So, following the public hearing, does that mean both of these applications will be heard at the next meeting?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we need to do preliminary subdivision application. Desiree, preliminary is just on your checklist, correct? This is not a preliminary application from them, this is their actual submission. The word on the top of this says preliminary.
Right, so.
That's for our use.
Yeah, according to the ordinance, there's two different things. The preliminary application, which is I think what you have, and then the final plan, which is
Right.
after you guys, go back on your run.
I'm only asking because we've talked to these clients before about a different project. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't a feel us out moment.
It's a sketch plan, not a preliminary application. Just to be clear. We'd be missing a lot of information if it were a preliminary application.
What are you looking for? I don't have.
Yes, you do. I took it.
You took it?
No, I want it all. All right. Glasses. Some of this is in this. Or is it all?
That's the thing.
So this is really a sketch plan.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yep.
You could mention that comment.
Definitely have to. Yeah.
It's not about the subdivision.
Okay.
So I guess you could throw my checklist out for the meeting tonight. We'll use that for their next meeting.
Yeah. No, it's better to be ahead than not.
104 acres, wow.
Chris, what we do with the sketch plan?
Yeah.
Page 8. So that's what we're, she'll present, and then we
Doing for
question.
Okay.
This is sketch plan.
Good to know what the hell we're doing, right?
I think that's for subdivision,
Yeah.
which I should have, I got mine with me. I didn't even look at it. I didn't look at it yet. What page is that?
Page 8.
Good job. Page was that?
Page 8.
8.
Page 8.
I got it.
Proposed layout of streets, lots, buildings, other features, shift to existing conditions. Does not have to be engineered, can be a freehand pencil sketch.
Right book, that would make more sense.
Sure, I'm in the right book.
It's on page.
As a sketch plan, yes.
Oh.
Got it.
I'll shut up now.
All right, so looking for areas, vegetation cover, be identified in general manner.
There's kind of-
Yeah, so the different zones point out.
It's not really us. Does Saco River take care of that part of it?
They have to be involved, yes, because the shoreline zone of the Osprey River.
Oh, yeah, they get it all mapped out. 250.
Minor or major subdivision.
Sites.
So I read 8. I counted 8 also.
Major, right? 8 makes it fall under
I
major.
don't know.
Anything over 3 is major.
Huh?
About anything over 4.
I thought I read 8, but then I just see this says 10.
Counted them, there's 8 of them.
It's 10. It's 10.
But some across the street.
It's major if it's over 4, I believe.
It's major.
Okay.
Talk to your person. Constipated with paper.
That's all we needed. Really, if you read it here,
Not kidding.
have her give her presentation.
Yeah.
You get a good.
And then make questions.
Correct.
Right.
Kendra, are you Kendra?
Yes.
You want to go ahead and stand and give us your presentation? I think that'll answer a lot of the questions, which is the main goal of having you here.
That's why she's here tonight, the pre-meeting.
Yep. And we have
We get our little
Well,
copies.
We don't have that easel around here anymore.
It's locked in a closet, I believe, but that's okay. I'll bring one next time.
Well,
Howard, you have a big map too on your thing?
yeah, I got one here.
My name is Kendra Renfro. I'm a civil engineer and project manager with Sebago Technics, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, which is Lazy River. We are proposing 10 lots on Lot 1, map R3. This is the large 100 acre lot just south of the Route 160 bridge that crosses the Little Ossipee River. I'm sorry, the Ossipee River, thinking of Little Ossipee Lake. And so we are in 2 zones. We're in the Farm and Forest District as well as the Rural Residential District. The zone line bisects the property. About 2/3 of it is farm and forest and 1/3 is rural residential. We're also in a shoreland overlay zone as we have several thousand linear feet of shoreline frontage on the Ossipee River. I have spoken to the Saco River Corridor Commission over the phone to just gain an understanding of what we need to do to satisfy their standards, which I understand is a standard of the zoning ordinance. So we were happily informed that they only have jurisdiction over 500 feet from the high water line. That is considered the Saco River Corridor. And so in the existing condition on this parcel, there actually is an existing road, which is quite, I don't know if you're familiar with the parcel, but it was constructed by the previous owner and it's quite wide, quite robust. He did not permit the road. And so there are some major environmental concerns, if we're just being fully transparent, that were inherited by the new owner and the applicant. So when they put in the road, they went through several wetland areas.
See that now.
Yeah, and so we have to permit the wetland impacts after the fact through DEP and Army Corps. We plan to do that, but to bring the road up to town standards, we're planning on utilizing that same alignment as best as we can, in order to bring it up to town standards and to raise the grade of the road so that we can treat the stormwater runoff from the majority of it. We will have probably a few more square feet of wetland impact. It's just kind of the nature of things in order to get into compliance. Again, DEP is aware of this. The Saco River Corridor Commission is aware of this. The only portion of that existing road and therefore our proposed road that is within that 500-foot corridor is the very beginning of the road. And we've shown that 500-foot kind of setback on this plan. I know there are a lot of lines on this plan, so it's a little bit confusing. But it does run in exactly 500 feet from the river. So just the very beginning of the road here and some of the ATV trails that come off of the existing road down here in this portion of the property are within that 500-foot corridor. So it actually makes Saco River Corridor Commission's approval very easy because we are planning to revegetate the portions of the trails that are within 500 feet of the river and bring them back to the natural condition. So that's what we'll be proposing to them. And then we'll just be essentially paving and regrading that beginning portion of the road. That's all they have to approve. They won't have any say on the homes that are going in because they're all outside of that corridor. I just want to be very clear that that's all that they'll be reviewing. However, you all will be reviewing the lots, of course. So back to that, we're proposing 10 lots. They will all have individual subsurface septic as well as individual drilled wells. We are proposing 3 different stormwater best management practices or BMPs. I believe we're in the early phases of design, but I believe we're going to end up with 2 under drain soil filters and 1 wet pond. Okay. And we plan to use the wet pond for fire protection as well. So we'll have a dry hydrant. And the fire department will have access to that pond. I think.
Where is that pond proposed?
Sure. So there will be 1 pond in this area on lot 3. So there'll be an easement over lot 3 for maintenance of the pond by the homeowners association, which will be established. There's the wet pond is going right here in the open space area, which is between lots 4 and lot 5. And then there's another one, I believe, on lot 6, an under drain soil filter.
Okay.
This property is on a very large hill. It all drains down to the water. So we're kind of, again, using that existing road, it will kind of run along a ridge. Several of the homes will be upslope, several will be downslope. Likely end up on the downhill side with some walkout basements. I would also like to note that, I don't know if it's a line on our plan, but in your packet, you'll see the beginning with habitat maps show a species of significance, and it's 900 feet from the river, so it encompasses the majority of the property. We believe that that's because the river is associated with Atlantic salmon. So that's the species of concern that you're seeing encompassing the whole property. So we will work with IF&W through the DEP process to determine what needs to be done about that. My guess, in having done this for a few years, is that with it being Atlantic salmon, we just have to make sure that we're not negatively impacting the river. And all of the homes that are proposed will be, because of the extensive wetlands on the lower half of the property down near the river, which are shown in green. All of the homes will be fairly close to the road because we're trying to keep them as far away from the wetlands as possible. To further complicate things, we do have a significant vernal pool on site. That is in this wetland area. It's very large, and that has a 250-foot setback, you're allowed to impact 25% of that setback with, in developed area within that setback, with a permit through DEP. So we'll be filing, that will be kind of encompassed in the permit that we already have to file for the existing wetland impacts. There are also 2 non-significant vernal pools, one down here in this wetland area, and there's a small one hiding on me right here on lot 9. So non-significant vernal pools are, they are regulated by the Corps, but they no longer have a setback associated with them. You just can't touch the pool itself. So we're well out of the area of the vernal pools with our development. I think that covers all the unique aspects of this property, which are
Let's get a few.
extensive. Like I said, there is an open space area. This will provide access to the water from well, for everyone, but in the homeowners association, but also for the lots 8 and 9 and lot 10, which don't have shoreline frontage. They'll be able to use the open space to get to the river. There's actually a really nice lookout area. You can kind of see it bumps in a little bit along the shoreline. It's a really beautiful spot. And then there is another unique thing. There, across from Route 160, there's a triangular piece of land that's actually part of this lot. And it provides access to the historical covered bridge that crosses Route 160. The town owns that bridge. However, that piece of land going to it is part of this parcel. So we're proposing that as open space. So it will be owned and maintained by the homeowners association. If the town does not want it, we're offering it to the town. We're offering to convey it to the town as they own the bridge. So it kind of makes sense, but if you don't want it, we'll keep it as open space.
Questions, gentlemen?
It's going to be quite extensive.
It's gonna be a big project.
Big project. It's going to be time consuming for us too. It's going to take a lot of meetings. If you look at all this land, it's 104 acres and it's got a lot of wetlands in it and in many other aspects, it's going to have to be really studied hard.
Yeah.
So we would probably need to probably get hold of our group that advises us a lot on this one.
STMPC.
Yes, that's what I think. We need to bring them on board for this. When we really get into the meat of it.
Correct.
We need to have them on board to assist us on this.
We work with them frequently, so, yep, I think that's a great idea.
We, make sure we don't have any mistakes. This is going to be quite costly if you make a bad decision. There's so many entities
There's a
involved
lot of
in this.
moving parts, a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts on this one.
The saving.
The saving. Because there's a flood zone involved in this, will the new flood zone ordinances and that special engineer have to be involved? Okay.
Can you say more about?
So we have recently enacted floodplain ordinances.
Floodplain ordinance, we have
That
a
will
new
also
one.
play into your project. Can you make a copy, can you print off a copy of this?
Is it online? Or just if they're new, they're not?
I don't think they're online yet.
Just the definitions or the,
The actual suggested wording of the ordinance that we approved.
I'll just note, all of the development that we're proposing is outside of the floodplain. All of the floodplain is within that wetland area that you're seeing down here. And we're actually showing the floodplain line on this plan.
What date were those maps that you based that on accessed?
They are what was just adopted by FEMA. They
Okay.
used to be called the preliminary maps. They were preliminary for like 15 years. The ones that were just adopted this year.
The ones that we can't get
Line we
physical
used.
copies of yet.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I've got the floodplain map here if you want to see it.
Yeah, that's the one. We'll have the line right on our plan.
Okay.
All the plans once they're submitted. I do have a question about when we need to get Saco River Corridor Commission approval, just as far as it relates to your process. So the next application, we're hoping to schedule a site walk because I'd want to do that before the snow flies, which it's been very warm. So I don't know if that's coming very soon, but we might have more time than we think. But number two, I was hoping that we could submit our preliminary application. You'll have a lot more information about where septic is, the design of our stormwater facilities, et cetera. If we could get your feedback and possibly preliminary approval and then go to the Saco River Corridor Commission based on what is actually in their purview to review, if that makes sense to you.
I think you've got enough here to go to Saco River right now without any problem.
Okay, my fear is just that because this is sketch level, we don't anticipate any of the lots changing or anything, but if something came up in the preliminary review with you and we had already received approval from the Saco River Corridor Commission, we'd have to go back to them before presenting our final plan.
We can't do anything preliminary without an actual site plan application, correct?
Which we plan to submit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you see what I mean?
So you're asking.
Order of operations.
You're asking for a site walk prior to the submission of the application.
That's not normal.
Is that what you're asking?
I thought the sketch plan was a formal submission. It's outlined as
It is a submission.
formal application within your ordinance.
It is a submission. I personally think this project's gonna need multiple site walks.
Yes, it's going to. But like I say, we need to get that organization on board with us pretty quickly too.
Procedure-wise with a sketch plan is that on section C on the procedure of a sketch plan, we do set a date on an on-site inspection.
Yep.
Within 30 days of the pre-application meeting, so that you could say this is your pre-application meeting, because it's a
Correct.
pre-application sketch plan. So yeah, within 30 days, you're supposed to have an on-site inspection.
I was just looking for clarification about the application itself. If that's what she was asking. If she was asking to submit a preliminary site plan. Not preliminary site plan, but.
The application sketch plan.
So yes, we should schedule a walkthrough, and I would prefer not to do it in Center Boots as well.
And maybe it's a question for Southern Maine Planning once we get them on board, but
It's in our book that we can schedule. This is part of the process.
I mean, as far as our approval for SRCC.
The second part to within 30 days, having an on-site inspection. The ordinance does say on-site inspections will not be held when the ground is snow covered, nor during the months of December through March, regardless of the snow conditions.
So we're waiting until April?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Can we ask for a waiver?
You can.
yeah, so that would be part of it.
Which one is that in our subdivision?
Yeah. You can and I would.
If weather, I mean,
Weather permitting.
It's still got to be weather. We can,
yeah. I mean, if it's still dry like this, it doesn't matter.
Is it possible to schedule a site walk for the last weekend in November?
I don't think so.
When's hunting season end?
Yeah.
Do it on a Sunday.
Might be a good idea.
The notice would be the 27th Sharper's Guide.
We could do it on Saturday, the 30th.
That wouldn't be 7 days prior to the sidewalk.
What was the date you said?
The 27th,
So,
so it would be advertised for the 27th.
but her waiver would cover the month of December as well anyway, right? I would assume.
I would think a favorable vote before.
Correct. If we agree to the waiver, I think a favorable vote will supersede on December 3rd. JP, go ahead.
So, two things, in the past, there are no sidewalks between December and April because it's in our ordinance.
Right.
And they are just waived. They're not pushed back to April. They're just not a requirement because it's frozen over. But that should also apply to our application as well.
applications we just approved.
Right.
Is it only in subdivisions?
I think it's only a major subdivision.
Major
Yes.
subdivisions.
So what I just read is specific to subdivisions, so if you want to give me a couple minutes. I'll look.
Yes, dear.
TikTok.
Believe me, I want to go home just as much as you.
No, I'm not my concern at all. I would rather do a site walk for this project now. I'd rather see it in multiple stages.
Yeah.
So that we don't have issues down the road. The only concern is weather, and I also don't want to get shot like a deer or a bear or anything else up there.
Well, this would look like a big pumpkin patch.
Could do that.
We have, that's,
We're orange.
that is attainable.
I think that rule is specific for subdivision.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how I just read it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I mean, we're doing lots of woods at the time, so.
I
Right?
would say yes, because.
Did anyone ask for a waiver at that time?
It says access to sites, and the town shall have access to the site at all reasonable times to review the progress.
Can we make a motion to make an exception for a December walkthrough?
She's reading up to see if we can.
Yeah, there's nothing specific on sidewalks, because sidewalks may be held, it's not a shall, it's a may.
So it only applies to major subdivisions?
I would say there's nothing in the zoning ordinance that says anything about sidewalks, it's only specifically called out in the subdivision ordinance.
That kind of makes sense too, because it
Yeah.
gets dark quickly during those months, so. So this is a big piece of property. I mean, we'd be out there for a couple hours anyhow.
The road, as I said, is, it's a very nice road. We will be able to walk it. It'll be nice because that is essentially the center line of our proposed road. And like I said, all the homes will be right off of the right of way. So, and of course, we can go down to the river and check that out, but
Check
it
out.
is easily accessible, the developed area, the proposed developed area.
Check out the phone.
Is it easy to see those buildable lots? I mean, buildable areas?
Are they,
Yeah, I mean, they're all wooded right now,
are they even marked out yet?
no, but we can get them, that's not a problem.
Like staked out?
I can get the front lot corner staked.
I put my plow on.
You know?
Something we'd have to schedule sooner than later if we do, agree to accept a waiver. I think that relies on a favorable motion of the board.
I'm good with it. Just a matter of coming up with a date and a time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do we make a motion for a waiver,
Or do you want to go with late November, so we don't have to do a waiver?
right?
We don't have time to advertise it.
She said we did.
No, I said that there's not 7 days notice, because I
And-
can't get anything into the shopper's guide to
Oh.
the 7th, so that only is 3 days.
That's not enough.
If you're gonna stick to Saturdays, the earliest you're gonna get in is the 14th.
Well, no, you posting to the 27th, you get it for the 7th.
Yeah, but we have two sidewalks.
We got
already.
two that day.
Right. So the only other thing to do is not do it on a weekend. To do it any earlier, it would have to be the 4th or after.
What's the earliest we can do it?
If it goes in and advertised on the 27th, I would say I'd be comfortable with you guys going for the 4th, because that's 7 days notice.
Well, I got an appointment. I can't make it.
I'm not available late on Saturday. I mean, I can only tackle the two site walks that we're already in on this Saturday. I'm not available later in the day. I could do it on the 7th or the 6th if the board finds me favorable to do a waiver. And again, I do think that because of the scope of this project and the number of overlays and the different districts, seeing it in multiple phases is probably a good idea. I'm not saying we're gonna be able to give you any pertinent information that will bind you to anything, but we can't.
Yep, we just wanted to check the box.
I would just caution, I wouldn't call it a waiver, because you're not really, waiving anything.
Right, we're
Just
Just do it.
for,
making an exception
yes, I,
for the verbiage.
just because waiving
Right.
implies something different than what you're actually doing.
Right. My thought is just due to the possible impact of the size of this project, that it is pertinent for the board to allow an exception to do a site walk, so we can have multiple inspections of this property over the course of development. If the board finds it favorable to do so. Again, not a motion I can make.
There is one other option that I'm hesitant to suggest, but as long as only 2 members go at a time, it's not a quorum, it's not a meeting. And you could go individually that way to the site and view it.
And then we're gonna get chewed up and spit out.
Right.
That gives somebody,
Yep.
yeah, no, that's not good.
Just had to suggest.
Thoughts, gentlemen?
So I think we should make the exception and then do this early, and then get SMPDC on board as quickly as possible.
Yep.
So we'll need a motion.
I make a motion to make an exception to a early December date
Sidewalk.
sidewalk.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? So approved. Now we need a motion for a date.
So let's get a date.
Is anybody available on the 6th,
What's the 6th?
Friday?
Friday.
I don't work anymore, I'm open.
You're welcome.
I'm available.
6th
Yep.
Yeah,
December,
day for me.
that's 3 of us though.
We're gonna need a quorum.
We got a quorum.
yeah. I can make it.
That's 4 of us. That's a quorum.
You, Jim? Yeah. Yeah, that's 4 of us.
I'd like to go, but I'm already taking a stress test.
Okay, Harvey, you're out. Anybody have a motion on this date?
What time?
No, but this is,
Usually we do these at 9. Would that work?
In the morning?
Do 6.
Obviously, in the morning, of course.
You never know around here.
Yes, I can, that works.
Make a motion, we have a site walk, 6th at 9 AM, December 6th, sorry.
7 AM.
For map R3 lot 1.
For map R3 lot 1.
Yep.
Second.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Approved.
Ta-da.
So that's we got back to back, huh? Back to back to back.
We're earning our money now, boy.
Don't worry.
Just a question, once we do the site walk, we'll need to discuss it at a meeting, correct?
Yep.
Findings of the site walk. Can we submit our preliminary application prior to that date so that we can, two birds, one stone?
We can't guarantee approval of that.
Right, of course. Yeah, but just so that you have the preliminary, the full application and full plan set, because right now all you have is a sketch.
If you feel you have all that stuff ready?
Yeah, so December
6.
6th would be the site walk, so what would be the following meeting?
The 18th would be the meeting.
Okay,
Yep, you're entitled to submit.
They're gonna split you guys up, so the 2 site plans that they talked about earlier, that they scheduled the public hearing, that'll be the week before. You'll be on. I'm sure there'll be something else.
well,
in there,
actually,
but-
we'd have to submit 3 weeks before or is it 1 month before the date?
Probably got 2 meetings.
15 days, okay, so 2 weeks.
Yeah, we are
prior
already,
to
the
the
11th.
So, okay, we might be on the January meeting discussing the
Probably
preliminary.
won't be here for the 18th meeting. But you can submit.
Okay.
Subdivision 1.
If you can get it to me, great, if not. If you
On
wait
to
till
the next.
If you wait till January, that just means that you have one.
Any other questions?
Public hearing. I didn't put it down for a second meeting in December.
Meeting on the 11th
What
and
time?
approved.
Just,
I remember that.
Yeah, could you maybe correct the motion for the time?
It was almost 2 hours ago, Alan, so I'm not surprised.
No.
I also just
Apologize.
wanted clarification on the SRCC question.
if we can approve,
Submit to them sooner.
I think that their decision and their approval is gonna weigh heavily on what we decide, so submitting prior to is what I would suggest.
Okay, it's my understanding that they'll want to see what we submit to you for the preliminary application, so we'll just do it at the same time and see.
You're just gonna show them our site plan
And-
application that you're gonna prefer.
Yeah, they don't have, I know that they do not have meetings in December. So we would probably be into January with our approval process.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide that you wanna submit your application for the January meeting, that's fine. Just let Desiree know when you send it in, which date you're submitting for. Any other questions we can answer for you?
Nope.
Anyone on the board? Thank you very much for coming. All right, I lost my agenda.
My notes.
Workshop.
Scheduling a workshop,
Scheduling a workshop for December 4th.
yes. Do you want to skip that since you have some meetings?
We got too much going. We gotta go to 6th and 7th.
I don't have a problem skipping that one, but I do think we need to workshop some subdivision stuff.
Oh, yes.
So-
Would you like to schedule something during both of those meetings, have a workshop after the meeting?
I think we'll wait and do it after the holidays for January.
Make a motion, we.
From what I hear. and
We skip
hear.
the workshop for December.
But again, I caution that we really need to workshop the subdivision book. Okay, so you make a motion?
Make a
Do I have a
motion.
second? Second. All in favor? So passed. And we are now open to public questions. Go ahead. Mr. Wright?
I just got a couple of things. Can you tell me the waivers on Federal Road?
The what?
The waivers, you guys read it to yourselves, but I didn't know what the waivers were.
Oh, what they,
There's an awful lot of waivers.
oh, they requested most of the second part of the site application under proposed activity.
Do they post the application online?
One's posted right now, Silver Therapeutics is the only one that's on. Just
They're the ones that,
They're the ones that ask for the waiver.
they're the ones that ask for the waivers.
I
so
do think the
it's there.
applications are public
Yes,
knowledge, so you could ask for a copy at the town office.
Okay.
they are supposed to be posted.
And you mentioned that,
With the election, I think they're probably, just wrapped up. They're just getting caught up on this website.
you mentioned that you were gonna meet with the select board.
I'm gonna request that, yeah.
Request that, would that be in a workshop, at a select board workshop?
That's going to be what they tell me that they're gonna do. But
Can I ask the select woman, is that gonna be in a workshop or just?
most likely workshop.
And it'll be posted? to the
Yes.
public?
I'm gonna make the formal request tomorrow. Yeah. Jen?
I've got just a couple of things.
You say there was no workshop.
I noticed that we're being televised, right? It would have been nice to show the people out in the audience the map, just so they could see.
Of the
Subdivision.
Subdivision.
Just a suggestion.
That would've been good.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
No, I don't disagree with you. And I think once we get on board with getting them online, that would
One
be part of it.
statement that one of the gentlemen mentioned about different waivers and stuff, that other towns don't do it and we do it and stuff like that. You know, that's.
He spoke about different application processes.
And the other thing was, if you're gonna, two board members are gonna meet on a sidewalk.
We're not.
Okay, because I would suggest that you
We're
don't
not.
have to tell the public each time that you go.
We're not.
Okay, just a suggestion.
That's not good.
Okay.
That's opening a can of worms. We're not.
There has been sidewalks in the winter. I sort of can take both sides of the fence here. There has been one in the winter for Dollar General because it was snowing. It probably wasn't the time to do it, but it was done.
I think that this.
Not 104 acres.
It was a.
Right, and I get that. And speaking about the 104 acres, right now we're in a very dry season. So you're not gonna get a real sense of the land until springtime.
It's gonna rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
Supposed to rain tomorrow,
2 or 3 days of rain.
Friday, and maybe a little bit Saturday.
Supposed to be downpours.
Downpour
That'll
tomorrow.
help with that a
All
little.
I know is we're sort of in a drought. Some people call it a
Right.
drought. So you're not gonna really get a lay of the land. I'm just saying.
No, we agree. We think this.
I mean, you mentioned vernal pool.
Right, it's just gonna be one of many sidewalks.
All right. The other thing is, the road that was put in without a permit, was that road put in the right place?
We don't know.
Or would it have to be rerouted?
Her intention was to use to get the road that's currently there permitted. I think that will depend on what DEP says.
That would
Right, so if it was permitted, I guess the direction of the road might be different if it was permitted before they did the work?
Probably.
Could be.
Sort of like.
It would most likely be different because they
One of
cross
those things
wetlands.
of,
Probably wouldn't have gone
you
through
know,
so many wetlands.
Do what you want and ask for permission later. I guess, and the road, you said, no one mentioned anything about, is it gonna be paved, road packed,
Paved, she said.
paved?
She did.
Elevated and paved to handle the runoff appropriately.
Catch that one.
Yeah, she did mention.
All right, and I think that's about it
Cool.
right now. Thank you for your time and
Thank
your
you.
service.
Anytime.
Madam Selectwoman, you had a question?
No, I'm all good. It was really gonna be for Silver Therapeutics and the fact that your site plan review contains a lot of the information that conditional uses require. And that if they had gone through the whole thing and looked at Article 4 in the land use, it was out, so.
I mean, it just wasn't that hard to just go through it.
Right,
you know?
I mean, there's a lot of the conditional use that was included in it. And, you know, and these guys have a change of use, so that was.
Right.
But I want, it was comments for that.
Would you like me to read David's comment?
Yes.
Sure.
So he apologized, he wasn't gonna last much longer. He says, my recollection is that the same application is used for conditional use as site plan. This was because the planning board required the same info for both, but this was many moons ago. The zoning ordinance should probably be changed to reflect the fact that this is the case, if it's true.
JP?
On that note, page 95 of the land use ordinance says the purpose of the site plan review is to A, provide a level of municipal review that would not otherwise occur for projects that could adversely impact the butters or properties in the project area and the community as a whole. B, maintain and protect the town's rural character and natural resources, including scenic and historical resources, by requiring that structures and other alterations on or to the land are cited and developed in accordance with certain standards. And C, promote the health and safety and welfare of the townspeople. And then it goes to section 2, applicability. This article applies to any proposed use listed in the table of permissions uses which requires site plan review.
Yep.
Which includes now the change of use which just occurred in this ordinance.
Yep.
Which is why I think this falls under the site plan review. And I understand her point, but I don't know, it's just, for me, if I'm coming into another town, I would at least call ahead to just see how they're doing it, to make
Yeah.
sure.
Not only that, like you guys were here with everything you needed to do, and the other one was too. And,
I mean-
and it's just kind of unfair, you know?
But, so regards, the second thing I wanted to bring up was, I know you guys caught it in Mr. Sanborn's packet under section X. One of the things that you guys will need to talk through in your meeting with the select board is Mr. Sanborn received in 2019 conditional approval from the planning board, and he is actually approved as a medical cannabis facility.
Yeah.
You guys know that,
Yes.
right?
Yep,
Yes.
it was in the packet, the letter.
Yeah, I put it in there today because that was in his file. And it was contingent upon the town adopting a cannabis ordinance. So the day that went into effect, his building became approved as a medical cannabis facility. So I know that that's in his packet to apply for. But I mean,
Getting the lift, I was going to.
that's kind of what I was alluding to in, the planning board. You guys are kind of overseeing that, checking that, but that's one of them that has already been kind of pre-done. So I don't know how that's going to work between like the differences of check marks between you guys, but
Right,
that's
now
one.
that facility's gonna have to be licensed.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, just those two notes from my side.
Any other public comment?
I've
Real
got,
quick,
oh, go ahead.
Jen?
comprehensive plan that we adopted as a town really heavily recommends growth areas in the town. And that particular section of Route 160 along the river is not one of them. And that's a huge, huge impact to the town.
Yep.
Just say it, and I'll probably say it again, so,
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be the only one.
What's that?
The comprehensive plan would really discourage that subdivision.
I think the point was that the Stanley building had already come to the planning board with the site plan review and has been approved for a retail store.
Right.
So why are they doing another site plan review for a use? That was their whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I went through that when this gentleman was trying to go with them folks. And I said, you know,
There's a difference between a retail store and a cannabis facility.
right. Correct. No, I get it. Like I said, you know, you have to come in permitted for each use.
You have to do the work.
Mr. Wright?
Mr. Wright?
One more thing, I suggested this years ago when the Walker Chevrolet was gonna be a cannabis facility. And I suggested years ago that there should be a little bit of green space in front of it. Like maybe where a sidewalk could be just some green space where, where the shrubbery, whatever, instead of looking like a giant parking lot, which I know was a giant parking lot, the car lot. But even car lots in Westbrook have green space. Village Variety has a little bit out in front of their store. And it's just to make it a little more appealing to the town.
I don't disagree. I think that, I wish there were a lot of things we could make happen along the way.
Sometimes you can just suggest, and that might be enough.
I think that he probably will hear these comments and hopefully take them to heart.
Not here,
So
though.
require an aesthetic ordinance.
There you go.
Well, I just
That whole.
trying to avoid just everything looking like a parking lot.
About 4 feet.
Not just that store, but other stores.
Well, I'm going.
But you have room.
All right.
Some of them, they don't even
I need a
have.
motion to
You
adjourn.
want to turn a truck around.
I'll make a motion adjourn at this time.
I need a second. All in favor?
We're, bye.
Before everybody just leaves.
Yes.
All right, thank you all for hanging through this meeting.
Oh. Hope my wife is doing okay.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know if we can disapprove that development out there on Route 160. If they really do good,
Would any of you mind leaving the binder for, Godowski?
Just you want it back?
No, I would like
I
to.
mean, I will buy one for her.
Keep them and put them in here.
I would like one here, just
You can-
because the office doesn't have one yet.
Keep mine.
So I'd like to just keep it on my desk.
I'll print mine at work. Just need the one?
Just one, yeah.
you know,
Because this one I got through for email,
this
yes,
one here,
yes.
this one here,
I usually move.
and
Okay.
Stanley Building
Uh-huh.
are less than 750 feet apart. You know that?
Yes, I do.
We can't approve both of them.
We can approve them. The selectmen have to decide who's going where.
Correct,
I don't think we should.
Well, I don't think that Stanley Building should get approved.
That's the
I
conflict.
can't say that out
Let
loud.
them have one.
It doesn't have a septic.
I don't want to do anything that is 1 feet or 1 feet for 2.
We can do, I don't care. Let them sue them.
Turn this
Yeah,
out.
you don't.
They highlighted the front parking in front of Sugar Spice as well.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want me to, text Maya
Say it, no, you hadn't finished.
Maya?
No,
Don't look at it wrong.
That was nothing to do with me.
I think I was shooting myself up for what I knew was a huge
I got dogs that's dying.
And it's not.
Thank you.
We'll be in
All right, you guys soon.
I had to wear my switches off.
Well, I'm not versed enough, and I
I'm a grumpy old veteran. I'm a grumpy old veteran. I do what I want.
Yeah?
They got that for me. It's right on the front. And some lady
Yes, I
said,
do. Yeah.
she said,
Thank you, guys.
that is a great sweatshirt.
Yeah, it is. Apropos.
Made it through all the kids being sick this fall so far, knock on wood, or like, yeah, I mean,
Anybody want a water bottle?
past 4 weeks, it's been one thing after another.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have any.
I don't either.
Probably living a healthy life then.